Live from Town Square Towers at the heart of the Jersey Shore. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. Get up, get out, do something. Join the conversation. 732-505-1160. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Listen online at WOBMAM.com.
Hey, welcome back. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin, 7:07 Tuesday, November 15th. 51 degrees, getting up to 55 today. And it's a little bit rainy this morning, but it's going to clear up. Don't worry. Don't worry. WOBM AM 1160, 1310 News Talk Radio. Streaming live on the Radio Pup app and WOBMAM.com, 732-505-1160 to join the conversation. We are joined in the studio now by Mel Bray. We are talking Lions Club International.
That's correct.
How are you today?
I'm wonderful.
That's good. So talk to me. The Lions Club. It's I will tell you that it sounds much more imposing than Kiwanis or Rotary. But what is it all about?
What all about is really doing humanitarian service around the world. We have 1,400,000 members in 210 countries around the world, and all the Lions work is done directly through the Lions clubs in those areas. So we do a lot of food service for humanitarian needs for people who have a disaster. We've worked on tsunamis, and after that we've turned around and created orphanages for the kids that were dispossessed from their homes and lost their parents. The Lions are actually running homes and orphanages for them over there in Indonesia. We do earthquake relief when people have problems with that. We fly in and take care of everything we can do immediately. And the interesting thing for us is you think way back to the Oklahoma bombing. The groups that came in, a lot of them came in, they did a very short period there. They did some work, and then they kind of left.
Right.
9 years later, the photographer that took the picture of the little child as it was carrying out that everybody remembers from the Oklahoma bombing, he decided to have a mental breakdown. There was nobody else to help him.
Right.
The Lions Club still was there, and the Lions Club still had money to take care of him as well. So we're long-term after disasters where other people are quick in, out, take care of the immediate needs, and then they're gone.
Cool. So what's your background? What did you professionally, because the Lions Club is not a professional gig. I mean, you're not getting paid to represent the Lions Club, although they do give you a snazzy shirt.
Actually, we paid for the shirt too.
Oh, well, that's good. Oh, you had to pay for your own shirt?
You have to pay for the shirt
well,
too.
Listen, it's clearly worth it.
Yeah.
So what did you do professionally? What's your background in?
Well, I was a banker for Hudson City Savings Bank, which is no longer in existence, merged a while ago. But I worked for them for 33 years as a regional bank manager, and I had quite a number of people employed, 146 employees and 19 branches that I was the regional manager for.
Cool. So you were retail banking.
Yes.
Cool. That's great. So then you're a relationship person, which would probably explain what may have first attracted you to Lions Club.
Well, actually, what started me was my mother being in the Eastern Star and my father being a member of the Lions. So I'm a second generation Lion, like my older brother is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're second generation. So you saw your family in the Lions Club, and what attracted you about it? I mean, what made you say, hey, I want to do that too when I grow up?
Well, it was just the idea that everything was volunteer, nobody got paid,
right?
And so you were able to help people to do different things. What our part at that time was more about seeing the fundraisers and going to see some of the projects and things that people were working on. It wasn't until I was older that I really got involved with it. Basically, as my older brother had come back and helped to start the Toms River Lions Club here. It had folded in '68, and they restarted a new club in '72. And he was involved with that and invited us to a couple of their events. And we decided after going for 6 months of helping, it was time to become members if we're going to keep going and helping.
Right.
But
all right, now explain this to me, because there's a lot of acronyms going on with your name over here. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm looking you up, right? I'm sizing you up. I'm trying to figure out what's going on, and I see you got you are what is this, PCC? What is PCC? What is that?
Well, that's actually an old title, but it's a past council chair. That means that I've risen through the ranks of the local clubs, through the district, and then a PCC would be someone who actually ran the entire state of New Jersey for the year. Okay.
And what is like LCIF coordinator? What does that mean? Lions Club International?
Well, it's International Foundation.
Okay.
And I was the person in the state that was going out and telling all the clubs that I need money and asking them to run projects for the foundation to raise money.
So
for
you would travel
our
across the
project.
state talking to them, right?
Absolutely.
And what MD16? What is that? That's your area?
That's New Jersey.
Geographic
That's
area.
all of New Jersey is MD16.
All right, so talk to me. You said to me you had 40 in Ocean County.
Right.
How many? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, I'm just saying.
All right,
yeah, 40
you go ahead.
was
Go
right.
ahead. Go ahead. How many are in the entire state?
In the entire state, we're just under 5,000.
5,000? Mm-hmm. There are 5,000 lions in the state.
Right.
Okay. So you would go around and you would rally the troops.
Basically, that's the idea.
All right.
We'd
So
explain the different projects of what we were trying to do, and try to solicit as much funds from the clubs as we could get them to donate.
and how did you do? Did you get like a scorecard and they say, Mel, you did a pretty good job with this, or you were like,
Yeah, the International actually gave us goals for our state,
Yeah.
and we'd have to try and come as close as we could to get those goals. And it was all good stuff because we were able to get money for the earthquakes and things that happened in places like Nepal, and we had some of the groups that hadn't donated a lot of money over the past 20 or 30 years actually came up and became the largest contributors to that Nepal event, and they raised over $60,000 to put into the charity when their normal function was about $15,000 for the year.
right. So you were saying that so talk to me about your demographics. So of the 40, right? What's the age range?
Anywhere from about 35 until the mid-70s.
Okay. And professionally, I obviously some retired folks, but what else can we see there?
Well, we have an FBI, former FBI agent.
Okay.
We have another banker. We have a fellow who was an insurance agent and had his own flower business in New York. We have funeral directors, and just about everything you can think of. And generally just people who were now retired and didn't have a professional job, some of the women, and just stayed home. So
All right.
they want to help.
And am I seeing this right? Is your wife also involved?
Yes, she is.
She's also a lion.
Yes.
Okay. So you're 2 of the 40 though.
Yes, we're 2 of the 40.
So you go as a couple, and it's your thing. So how often do you guys meet?
Now we're meeting once a month for the regular general meeting for the public.
Okay.
And then we have a board meeting once a month as well.
Gotcha. And then you have service. I assume you have some service activities that you do.
One of our biggest service activities right now is going around to the preschools, and we're doing eye screenings with a special camera. Picks up about 6 different eye diseases that the normal eye chart or acuity charts that the schools use does not pick up. And we're finding little kids as small as 6 months old up into 6 years old. We're picking out early eye diseases for them so that they can get it corrected and hopefully not have to wear glasses the rest of their life.
Wow. That's pretty cool. So it's really the focus on the eyes and the focus on so why the eyes? I mean, what's the rationale there?
It's called Helen Keller. In 1925, we started in 1917 as an organization in Chicago, became international a year later, and in 1925, Helen Keller came to our convention for Lions International in Cedar Point, Ohio, and basically challenged us to be Knights of the Blind, and so that no blind or deaf child would be left behind and not be able to be educated. And so the Lions at that point accepted her challenge, and we've been doing it ever since.
Cool. All right. When we come back, Mel Bray, Lions Club, I want to hear kind of your elevator pitch, right? So there's a lot of organizations that are, I want to say, are somewhat similar, right? Little different focus, right?
Sure.
But you have your Kiwanis, you have your Rotaries, you have a lot of these, you have all these professional organizations, and then there's chambers, and then there's this and that. I want to understand why you believe that Lions Club is the way to go. What's the differentiator? And I'd also like to talk for a few minutes about professionally, like how you felt it's been for you, like from a networking standpoint, et cetera, et cetera. You're retired at this. Are you retired now?
Yes.
So prior to your retirement, I'm sure there were networking opportunities. So I'd like to hear about that as well, because that's important to a lot of folks when they join organizations like this. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin, Mel Bray, Lions Club. Back after this.
Stay tuned for Preferred Company with Joel Markell and Marianne Levy at 8. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin continues next. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310.
Hey, welcome back. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. We're here with Mel Bray talking Lions Club. So I was asking you, I was challenging you, Mel. I laid down the gauntlet for you and said, talk to me about why Lions Club? Why Lions Club over all the competition out there? What's different?
Well, the biggest thing for Lions in any area is the Lions get to raise the money. They decide the projects they want to use, and they also then get to decide how the money is going to be used. Unlike some of the other organizations, which are all doing fantastic work, they get told from the top down, we need so much money for this particular project, and you have to raise it. So they're not getting to select the items that they want to do. With Lions Club, the members are the ones that come up with the ideas, and then we execute the ideas and do the fundraising or do the project to build whatever somebody brought up as an idea.
Right.
It might be working with the food bank. It might be doing something else.
Right. And you were talking about, in the break, you were talking about volunteerism, how important that is. What do you mean by that?
Well, there's so many people out there, and the needs keep growing continuously, and obviously the government is getting less and less capable of helping the people that really need it. And they have very stringent rules about what they're going to give, and somebody might need a whole lot of help to get a 5-year-old child a pair of glasses, but they can't get the glasses because they make $1 over the poverty limit. So the government's very strict and says, you lose, and that's where the Lions Club comes in. We don't have those kind of stringent things. If we find a real need and we decide that the person needs that kind of help, we're going to turn around and do it. Even if it has to come out of our pockets, we'll do that.
You know, you made a great point, and I don't think I don't think we talk about this enough as a nonprofit community. And I'll put the Lions Club in the nonprofit community, right?
That's where we are.
It's that we have a somewhat of a warped system here in America where we expect the nonprofit community to bridge the gaps of what otherwise should have been handled by a government.
Absolutely.
Right. And it's funny because I was talking to a young lady who does fundraising for an organization, and she says she hates doing what she's doing. And I said, why? You're so good at it. And not a local organization, by the way. And I said, why? You're so good at it. And she said, because what I'm doing, basically, I can get money from anyone, right? But I'm selling my nonprofit or my cause as the most important cause out there. And I'm taking money from the rich and redistributing it to the poor, right? And frankly, I'm doing a ton of work to do what the government should already be doing when I could be using my powers I could be using my skills in another way that would be better for mankind. And I thought that was so enlightening on some level, right?
It very, very much true statement, though.
Yeah. But that's cool. And so that there is something to be said though for volunteerism, and I have certainly learned over in recent years that it's important to get everyone involved, from kids up until retirees. Everybody should be giving back to their community. Whether it's, if you can't do it monetarily, then you certainly can find time to put in an hour a week and just kind of give back in some way, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
We'll tell people all the time, if we can get an hour from you now and that's all you can give to us, that's great. If you can only show up at this particular fundraiser or project that we're working on for a cleanup or something, that's fine. If you can't be a full-time member and make all the meetings, we understand that.
So what are you doing with the measles? I mean, that's that. I don't. So is that an eye thing?
No, well, no, it isn't really an eye thing, but it does involve the eyes sometimes. We're currently doing a program now, and we're partnering with the Gavi Alliance and also with the Gates Foundation to raise $30 million for the Lions portion to wipe out the measles around the world. This is our second wave of doing this, so we've already immunized over 90 million children throughout the different parts of the world, trying to eradicate the disease of measles. It's important to us because when we started this, there was over 750 kids or people were dying every single day from measles, which is something that can be cured by a $1 shot.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? Because you think the measles were from like the 1800s or something, right?
Exactly, way back in the beginning of at least the 19th century. But it's still prevalent in other parts of the world, and as we've seen just with a case where someone came back to Disney World and infected 22 states from passing it on from one person to another and started as a minor epidemic.
Right.
We're hoping to eradicate that from ever happening at all. So it's very
well.
important
Listen,
to
I'm
us.
saying lions versus measles. I'm taking lions every time.
Yep.
I'm laying the 5 points.
Yep.
When we come back with Mel Bray, Lions Club, we are going to talk a little bit about the 100-year anniversary coming up in 2017. We're going to give Mel his magic wand, and most importantly, we're going to tell you all how you could join and become part of the Lions movement. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. Back after this.
Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Live from the Jersey Shore to the world. Get up, get out, do something. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. Take the show wherever you go. Download the free Radio Pup app for your smartphone or tablet. Join the conversation. 732-505-1160. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Listen online at WOBMAM.com.
Hey, welcome back. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin, 7:35, Tuesday, November 15th, 51 degrees, getting up to 55 today. WOBM AM 1160, 1310, News Talk Radio, streaming live on the Radio Pup app and WOBMAM.com, 732-505-1160. Join the conversation. We're joined in studio by Mel Bray. We're talking Lions Club International. And, by the way, it's a little rainy out, so don't forget to put on your galoshes, right? If you own galoshes. I just like saying galoshes. So, Mel, big anniversary coming up, the 100th year, the centennial.
Absolutely.
Tell me, what's on tap? What can we expect?
We're going to be having about 50,000 of our members from around the world will be convening into Chicago, Illinois, which was our birthplace, and we'll be taking over McCormick Place for about 5.5 days, and we're going to have all kinds of seminars, but we'll also have different kinds of shows, and a lot of the pageantry goes on with the election of the president and then the induction of him and taking the oath and all that sort of stuff. So it's going to be quite a program for the people that are going to be going there.
Right.
We're going to be lucky enough to have the Beach Boys, and I guess I hope we're not having to pay for them, advertising for them.
Yeah.
We're also going to have the band Chicago playing at the same time, and they'll be having Al Gore.
Like they're going to be playing in a round?
Well, they're each going to play separate sets, and then they're actually going to play together.
Oh, cool.
Which will be the first time we've ever done that. And there's just been multiple programs for everybody attending, and then, of course, sightseeing of the main office and all that sort of thing.
So, one can only imagine when you get 50,000 Lions in one place, the debauchery that's probably going to follow from that. I mean, it's probably crazy, huh?
It's not quite like Mardi Gras, no.
No,
but it does get close to that atmosphere at times.
Yeah. All right. I'm sure you have a lot of stories. Well, we'll talk about those offline, Mel. I don't want to get too. It's a family show. I always tell people.
That's right.
So, Mel, you've shared a lot with us, kind of giving us the flavor of Lions Club. Now it's your turn, right? This is all about you, Mel.
It's all about me.
It's all about you. We're going to give you the magic wand. We're going to give you the pixie dust, the fairy dust, the ability just to wiggle your nose like Tabitha from Bewitched and make something happen. Mel Bray, Lions Club, what are you doing with that magic wand?
Well, it's when I read the question previously, I said, geez, I think it's going to be this, and I've changed it 6 times, and last night I decided it's going to be wiping out diabetes.
Why diabetes?
Because diabetes affects so many young kids that shouldn't have to be suffering and being punctured with needles all the time. It affects a lot of middle-aged people. It affects a lot of old people, but it's very debilitating. It causes a lot of death, and it leads to eyesight problems and a lot of other kinds of things, amputations of limbs, and it's probably the worst thing I can kind of remember. And for me, it relates back to my parents because my father was a severe diabetic when I was a kid.
Right. Well, that's listen, I don't think anybody's going to argue with you using your wand for that. So kudos to you, Mel. Mel, if I wanted to learn more about the Lions Club, if I wanted to dive in, right? Where is there a website? Is there a Facebook page? Is there an Instagram? Is there a Twitter? Is there a Tinder? What do I do?
Wow, that's a lot of pages that
I
you've
know.
got there. The best thing to do would be either to contact me by phone at 732-350-4011, which is my home phone, or to email me at Melvin, MELVYN, jeremy.bray@icloud.com, and I'd be glad to talk to anybody and direct them to wherever there might be a club local for them to help to serve and to get involved with our organization.
Very cool, very cool. Lions Club, I listen, so, we were talking in the break, and you also are the executive director of another Lions foundation, right? And I said, oh, what do they pay you for that? And you're like, no, that's a volunteer position. So you're leaving here, and you are going to Princeton to talk to a medical association, right?
Right.
So you have really devoted your life to this, to the Lions Club and the causes of the Lions Club. And, I guess I look at it like the Lions Club is just the vehicle for you, right?
Yes, it
because,
is.
It could have been called, it could have been called the Cheetah Club or whatever. It's the most important thing for you was the ability to give back to the community, to be able to make an impact on the world, and to to help people's lives, right? I mean, that's what you're devoted to.
Absolutely.
Well, we are thankful to have folks like you doing that. I certainly am, as somebody that's in the nonprofit community. We live on the fact that there are volunteers who are willing to give their time and to give back to our communities, and you're doing that in a way that most people would never dream of. So, kudos to you and to your wife, who is certainly along with you for the journey, I'm sure.
Yes, she is.
And really great, and I'm really glad to have met you and had you in here for a little bit today.
Thank you very much for having us and letting us explain the Lions Club a little bit to everybody.
Absolutely. Mel Bray, Lions Club, check them out. Great cause, great group of folks. And look, who knows, you could go party with them and the Beach Boys in Chicago next year. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin, back with more after this.